Centuries of trade and history connect Malaysia and China. For Malaysia's large ethnic Chinese population, culture and language are especially powerful links. But for Malaysians of all backgrounds, Chinese language and culture, as well as exciting economic and scientific opportunities, are helping to stimulate new connections. In recent years, investment from China has helped transform Malaysia's skylines, industry and infrastructure. Trade between the two countries has boomed, and the benefits can be seen all across this Southeast Asian nation. Malaysia and China's relationship is also built on growing people-to-people ties through tourism, education, and family connections. Over the last half-century of diplomatic relations between the two countries, those links and bonds have only grown closer. And nowhere do the historic, cultural, and economic ties between China and Malaysia run deeper than in the country's oldest city, Malacca. China's famed Admiral Zheng He, or Cheng Ho, first visited Malacca in 1405 with his giant fleet comprising around 300 ships and 28,000 men. He's believed to have visited Malacca at least 4 more times during his lifetime. Zheng He's visits played an important role in establishing China's maritime Silk Road, leaving a lasting economic and cultural legacy on Malacca, and ultimately what would later become Malaysia.
对马六甲和马来西亚今天形成的影响，至今呢还是非常深远。当郑和来到马六甲之后，通过与马六甲王朝的第一任的国王拜里密苏剌的合作，马六甲这个国家变成了东方最重要的贸易商港。就当郑和下西洋的时候，第二种影响呢，有很多的随从，他们留在了当地，留下之后呢，他们与当地人呢会有通婚，他们形成了很多文化上的融合，文化上的包容。包括郑和下西洋之后，大量的华人、中国人也来到了这里开始定居做生意，他们也与当地人通婚。
Today, those close cultural links between China and Malaysia can be seen in this country's numerous Taoist and Buddhist temples, its clan houses, its cuisine, its trades and crafts. Roughly 1/4 of Malaysia's population are of ethnic Chinese origins, and they continue to enthusiastically follow many of the cultural practices of their ancestors. Pharmacies selling traditional Chinese medicine, puppet troupes entertaining audiences, artisans carving signs from wood or engraving seals from stone, all hark back to their origins in China. Some, like this man, are likely the last practitioners of their craft here, which is set to die out with them. Others, like Malaysian master lionhead maker Lim Meng Kok, are successfully passing on their skills to the next generation.
我叫做林明國，今年76歲，人人叫我老夫子。我個花名我做獅頭已經做咗40年。啱尾入呢個行咧，係因為咧我哋有搞一個書團，有嗰陣時去買獅頭咧好辛苦嘅，因為有錢有時都買唔到，去中國寄過嚟。嗰陣時咧獅頭爛咗，我哋係自己攞嚟修理啊、修整啊，即係邊度爛啊、邊度啊補翻去。人哋係醫鐵打啦，我係醫獅頭嘅啫。1980年正式出嚟做獅頭，咁樣因為我哋冇師傅教啊，自己諗㗎。用中國係用竹嘅，我哋呢度咧用鋁片同埋藤。最低獅頭咧，即係普通㗎啦，冇要求咩咧，即係普通嘅製作啦，係3500蚊。如果係講最貴嗰隻咧，都可以賣二手車嘅8000幾，8880好似咁樣製作，1個半月做一隻。
Though he started off solo, he now employs several people to help him make the lion heads.
後生係好希望即係學紮獅頭，不過咧佢父母就反對，因為咁樣唔係啊！我哋嘅諗法就唔同啊！ 我哋嘅諗法咧，行行出狀元嘅。你如果做到出名，譬如咁樣，我哋就好啦，講我就好啦。我一年到晚啊，一年365日差唔多冇停嘅。好多做獅頭冇接班人，我仲有我女婿做接班人啫嘛。
我18岁到现在43岁，觉得这个重要啊，因为比如说我们做狮头，它也是有关于到中国文化的东西，因为狮子是一个好的东西来嘛，所以这个是我的一个开心的一件事了。另外一个就是很少有这种行业了啊，越来越少了，所以我们不维持就没有了这个手工行业，这个文化行业。
The younger generation brings its own skills and strengths, using social media to promote Lim's lion heads.
所以我们现在目前呢，都有很多新的外国的顾客都找到我们，做我们的生意也是比起以前多了很多那些新的顾客咯。
The lion dance is a local favorite at Lunar New Year celebrations, as well as events like opening ceremonies. Such celebrations showcase the close cultural links between Malaysia's ethnic Chinese and their ancestral homeland. The Mid-Autumn Festival, Duan Wu Festival, fire walking during the Nine Emperor Gods Festival, and above all, Lunar New Year, are widely celebrated here, often with their own local twists. Malaysia has taken traditional Chinese lion dance to new heights, with local troops becoming world-renowned practitioners of the acrobatic lion dance, performed atop high pillars. The lion dance thrills audiences of all races. The Kwan Lok Association has produced several world champion lion dance teams.
Started in Malaysia with only 20 members, and it grew up to about 300 members. And we have overseas, we have a lot of students coming over to learn from us, from USA, from Philippines, Myanmar, Cambodia, Vietnam, and many more.
The high-flying dancers here are still almost all ethnic Chinese. But it's now common to see non-Chinese musicians in Malaysian lion dance troupes, like these ethnic Malays from Malaysian Borneo.
Memang daripada kecil saya memang minat lah. Memang minat. Okay, so bila kecil nak masuk tarian singa tu, ya kita orang boleh dikatakan Muslim kan. Main cymbal, okay, drum tu dalam training lagi, okay, and pemain echo lah. Saya memang minat main echo.
Our local government have recognized this as a sport too. So it's a very positive thing, and we can see it that can progress. Maybe in this next coming 10 years, we can see more acrobatic lions from all different races, and we have pushed this lion dance for all, this slogan.
While cultural links have endured and evolved, and economic links have blossomed, the people-to-people connections between China and Malaysia have also grown stronger in recent years, the field of education being a prime example. Xiamen University Malaysia, on the outskirts of Kuala Lumpur, is a groundbreaking institution. In 2016, it became the first top-tier Chinese university to establish a branch campus overseas. The links between Xiamen University and Malaysia stretch back to the late 19th century, when a man called Tan Kah Kee moved from Xiamen to what was then British Malaya.
He did quite well in terms of business, but he contributed all his assets finally to the great cause of education. So he set up Xiamen University 1921, and we think that it's a very natural kind of development for Xiamen University to come back to Malaysia. We like to nurture young talents with dignity and wisdom, turn them into a fine citizen of the region who will make contribution to the prosperity of the people and social progress of Malaysia, China, Southeast Asia.
The university currently has around 7,500 students from 44 countries, about 800 of them from outside of China and Malaysia. 19-year-old Lin Shujin is from China's Fujian province and studying journalism at the university.
I chose this university with a high expectation. The reason I chose journalism is that it had been a dream for me for quite a long time because my parents, they both work in the fields related to politics and media. So when I was a kid, we will discuss about all kinds of news in the society around the dinner table. So it kind of planted the seed of dream inside of my heart.
Lin was chosen as an intern to work with Xiamen Television, which has a bureau and studio at the campus.
The journalists, they were all very patient. I was taught how to operate like this teleprompter, and I also tried to broadcast the news here. And I was also given some chances to interview others during the different events. But the practices were very much difficult compared to what we learned in the classes.
所以你一定要倾斜，然后从这个风池往下，还有就是胸锁。
Courses in traditional Chinese medicine, or TCM, are attracting strong interest from local students as well as ones from China. Chan Jin Yen is from the city of Malacca.
So I chose to study TCM is because I'm more curious about this because I can know about the disease from the pulse, from the color of the skin, color of the tongue. I think most interesting is that we can go to internship to China, Hospital China, within 1 year. So we can get more experience from there. So in my future, I think I will go further study, maybe in China. After that, maybe I will go back to Malaysia to work in some clinic or some hospital to get more experience about that. Then maybe we'll open a clinic, become my own business.
The university is also seeking to become a major research institution. Green technologies, in which China has become a world leader, is a key focus area. This research center is led by Malaysian professor Ong Wee Jun.
So here we are looking into that is natural photosynthesis. Is it possible for us to look into an artificial way? And for that, we call it as artificial photosynthesis. Instead of leaf, we are producing nanomaterials. That nanomaterials is actually kind of resembling a leaf that's able to absorb the light, absorb the water, absorb CO2, and convert into value-added chemicals. And that whole concept is actually a waste to wealth technology because we want to turn waste into wealth or turn trash into treasure. We also are receiving some research funds from the Chinese government as well as from the Xiamen University China. So hope that with more collaborations as well as more experts coming from the main campus, I think this is something we can have a synergy or collaboration between China and Malaysia.
Xiamen University researchers are also collaborating with the owners of this farm, growing the prized and pungent durian fruit in central Malaysia. The farm is working with local company Sustainable Harvest, which uses China's Alibaba Cloud to tap the power of artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things, IoT, to boost the efficiency and productivity of durian farms. Xiamen University helps analyze the data.
So this is the satellite IoT. So it's using a satellite connectivities. It's, as long as you can see the sky, all the data can actually send through. So there are a lot of farms which is in a very rural area. There's no connectivity at all. So this is one of the best solutions for that. So this is a sensors that which is actually plugged in to look at the soil moisture content. So from here, it actually sent to the cloud. Then we do a lot of analysis. From there, we build the AI algorithm, right, to understand whether the water is actually absorbed by the trees. We also measure the nutrient as well. For example, when this come into the fruit development stage, it requires a lot of fertilizers to actually to have a good fruits, to make it round, to make it bigger.
The technology can also be used to ensure the optimum amount of water and fertilizer is delivered to specific areas or even trees. Farmers are seeing the benefits, though they say that many of their peers have been skeptical of their investment in technology.
When we want to start use all this IoT, a lot of people tell us that you throw the money to the sea. This is the sentence that they give us. However, I believe that data able to help us. If we have all the data, based on the experience and the data that we collect, I believe that it's more powerful when we do this decision making. We can use all this data to improve our yield, and we can reduce all the expenses as well.
If the fruits are of high enough quality, then they can be flash frozen and sold to China, where prized Malaysian varieties such as Musang King sell for top dollar. Malaysian durian and durian products are marketed extensively via e-commerce platforms, especially in China and on Chinese platforms. Those e-commerce platforms are playing a key role in increasing opportunities for Malaysian small and medium-sized businesses and helping them up their game. The founder of a company making skincare products, Sarini Zainal, has a degree in chemical and biological engineering from South Korea.
Currently, we are selling in Malaysia through e-commerce platform, and we just launched our product in few retail pharmacies, and maybe starting from this year, we're going to enter the international market as well. Currently, we are still relying on the e-commerce, mostly like 80%.
Alibaba's Southeast Asian e-commerce offshoot, Lazada, sent Sarini to China for training.
I learned how the China people, they do their business, like they merge with the manufacturing company. So here I am today, we already merged with one of the biggest OEM skincare company in Malaysia. The benefit is that we can lower down the cost, benefit the customers, and sell at the best price. I think we are just a small local brand, so having a huge marketplace platform that allow us to be among the other competitors is another advantage for us to be among the best.
Newer Chinese platforms, including social media platforms, are also boosting opportunities for Malaysian businesses. Among them is Xiaohongshu. According to one recent study, Malaysia has the largest number of users on the platform outside of China. Shira Lam is a social media influencer and also has a company creating promotional materials for businesses.
Mostly I have more clients and also food and beverage clients. What we do for them is to create a social media and also post content creation to create brand awareness and also promote for their upcoming promotions. Sangshu in Malaysia, right, is I think it's growing since 2 years ago, but by that time it's more to the readers. But if you say the content creator that's growing is around 1 year, so more and more business clients, they think that this is one of the platforms that is necessary to reach out more customers.
It's hard to believe now, but just over a decade ago, before the advent of the Belt and Road Initiative, Malaysian companies invested far more in China than the other way around. The situation has flipped in recent years, with Chinese state-owned and private firms being among the biggest foreign investors in Malaysia, in heavy industries such as steel, in upgrading ports, in assembling automobiles, in ICT, in green technologies, in high-rise construction, in rail building. The China Communications Construction Company, CCCC, is taking the lead on Malaysia's biggest ever infrastructure project, building the 665-kilometer-long East Coast Rail Link from the country's big West Coast ports through the capital to a joint China-Malaysia port and industrial park on the underdeveloped East Coast and up toward the border with Thailand. It's bringing contracts and skilled jobs to locals and is expected to boost development right along the route once the line starts operating in 2027. Another Chinese firm has been helping Malaysia upgrade and expand its urban and national rail networks. Train-building giant CRRC has established a sprawling plant in central Malaysia where it assembles hybrid diesel-electric trains, fully electric train sets for the country's main north-south rail line, as well as trains for the capital's LRT network. It's not only improving the country's connectivity, it's also creating skilled jobs and upgrading the knowledge of local workers.
马来西亚作为东南亚核心地带，具有重要的地理位置和交通优势，而且经济基础相对稳定，更具有投资吸引力。另外，马来西亚政府也将轨道交通作为重点投资领域，发展速度较快，为我们提供了良好的发展机遇。
When the plant first started operating 10 years ago, around 90% of the workers were from China and just 10% local. That's now reversed. The CRRC plant is near 35-year-old Muhammad Al-Amin's hometown, where skilled jobs are at a premium.
There is a lot of training I've been scheduled by CRC. For example, I've been trained go to CRC factory in Zuzhou. I have experienced their process of manufacturing. For example, from the car body itself is shell until the end product that is being tested and commissioning. I also further study on the degree for part-time technology management. In Malaysia, we don't have this kind of manufacturing for railway. It's a good opportunity for me to study, learn from them about the technology from scratch until the train can be delivered and operate.
Muhammad Nur Azri has been working with CRRC for 10 years.
Jadi ketika saya bermula join dengan company ni, syarikat ini menghantar saya ke China lah untuk latihan di sana selama 3 bulan dan saya juga mendapat latihan daripada master-master di sana dan juga pekerja yang hebat-hebat di China sana, di Zuzhou sana.
Both Azmin and Azri feel their work with CRRC is contributing to their home country's economic development.
Membina kereta api ini bukannya kerja kita nak dapatkan upah, nak dapatkan gaji, tapi kita juga memberi satu semangat pada negara kita untuk membawa para pelanggan untuk bergerak lebih laju lagi dan juga untuk bertemu dengan keluarga masing-masing. Kita boleh menjelajah negara kita dengan lebih baik lagi, dengan lebih pantas lagi lah.
Just as business links between China and Malaysia have boomed in recent years, so has the flow of people moving back and forth between the countries, whether for tourism or commerce. Pre-pandemic, China was the biggest source of tourists to this country, aside from Malaysia's immediate neighbours. But tourism arrivals rebounded slower than hoped, so Malaysia and China have worked to revitalise cross-border travel.
It was China that made the first move late in 2023, adding Malaysians to the small group of nationalities able to enter that country without a visa for short tourism or business trips.
Weeks later, Malaysia followed suit, allowing visa-free entry to Chinese nationals until at least the end of 2024. The impact was quickly seen and felt, especially as the big Lunar New Year holiday came.
接待呢，现在都导游都缺乏，希望我们的免签证的开始呢，可以再继续再多1年、多2年、多3年都可以更好。为什么呢？马来西亚的中国游客的增加是80%到90%。那尤其是我们在春节的时候呢，我们公司啊，新康泰的旅游公司呢，占的每一天都有100多团体。
The visa waiver has not only boosted the number of groups from China, it's led to a surge in people traveling as families or individuals.
电子签就是网上的电子申请，然后我们当天就很顺利的到了这儿。昨天刚到的嘛，然后我们入境的时候也很方便，就提供一下那个电子签的证明和返程的机票，我们就入境了，很快很方便。所以我觉得这也是两国之间友好缔结的一个象征吧，让我们能够免签就来到马来西亚。
Business people, like participants in this investment forum, are also seeing the benefits.
is great news for both my members, like small SMEs and big companies as well, and also for Malaysian entrepreneurs that went to China, and this is much more convenient than previously.
The visa waiver is also helping draw kin in Malaysia and China closer together, like the family of Malaysian Alvin Chong.
I'm a Malaysian married to my wife from China, and we are very lucky to have 5 kids born in Malaysia. We are traveling to China as a family to meet up my wife's mom. Before this, it wasn't easy. There's a lot of documentation needed, and we have never really traveled to China as a family because every single person needs a visa. Nowadays, we do not need a visa anymore. We can book a ticket and fly directly as a family to China together. So I'm very, very happy that China is actually opening up for visa-free for all Malaysians.
Beyond this boom in travel between China and Malaysia, a growing number of Malaysians are also choosing to learn Mandarin. In Malaysia's education system, children can attend primary schools in which the main language of instruction is either Malay, Tamil, or Chinese. While most ethnic Chinese have long chosen to send their kids to the Chinese language schools, in recent years it's become an increasingly popular option with non-Chinese parents as well.
I want them to learn extra language, which I don't have the opportunity to when I was a kid. Most of the company also link China. I want them to get experience maybe working overseas in the future.
The latest figures suggest that about 18% of the new intake in Chinese primary schools are ethnic Malays and Indians, well up from just a decade earlier.
For me, this is a Mandarin school rather than a Chinese school, right? So Chinese, if you talk about, is a race, and then Mandarin is a language, right? So for me, I'm quite interested for my kids to learn more languages, okay? At the same time, culture mixed with other races. I feel that Mandarin is important. That is the reason that for future, so I send them to a Mandarin school or Chinese school.
Education is yet another way in which the bonds between Malaysia and China, between the people, cultures and economies, are becoming even more intertwined.
The students who join us will have a better opportunity to know more about China. In the longer term, our graduates will play a very important role in the connections in terms of the trade, investment, culture, education.
Fine, we have achieved quite considerable results, quite significant and meaningful results, but we shouldn't be complacent. I think there are still room for further integration, deepening that integration to ensure that this 50 years can be the next 50 years as well, the next 100 years of strong relationship between Malaysia and China.
6 centuries ago, when Zheng He brought his giant fleet to the shores of what is now Malaysia, his arrival led to greater trade and diplomacy between these two countries. It also helped spark a greater understanding and appreciation of each other's cultures and brought new opportunities. Those connections have grown over the past half-century of diplomatic ties and will only continue to grow in the decades ahead. The spirit of Zheng He living on in the people of Malaysia and China as they look to take that legacy to new heights. For Assignment Asia, I'm Ryan Meltzer in Malacca, Malaysia.